Hey everyone, welcome to Office Hours. Another week, another Office Hours. Great to be here, great to have you all here. If you're following from another streaming channel, such as Twitch or YouTube, and you want to participate in the breakouts later, this is something that I forgot to mention in our previous Office Hours. Do make sure to join the Discord so that you can participate in the breakout rooms if you have specific questions. Hope everyone's doing great today. I'm just trying to coordinate getting the USDC. Oh, hey Charles. Right on time. I was just saying that I was double checking that the people from Circle were here. Awesome. So, for those of you who have never attended Office Hours before, this is just a weekly appointment where we get together as a community, discuss any recent or interesting topics. If you do have interesting topics that you, or not interesting necessarily, but if you have any cool topics that you want to talk about, any cool projects that you're working on, reach out to us and we can make sure that you have a slot in our next Office Hours to talk about it, to present it, to get feedback from the community. It really is just like a touch point for everyone to get together and keep up to date. And the funnest Office Hours are the ones where people, talk and share ideas, insights, and feedback. But Office Hours is not just about talking, it's also about presenting, as I said. And today we have a relatively light agenda, but a pretty intense one. And the biggest news and that we want to talk about today is the launch of USDC. So I asked the team from Circle to join us and talk about it. Just double checking, Charles, is Alex also on the Office Hours?
Don't see him in this list.
Okay. Do you mind pinging him and getting him to join? Yeah, cool. Cool, awesome. Well, while we get Alex from Circle to join, so Circle is the company behind USDC. I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of what USDC is. And for that, if I could ask Carol, do you mind sharing the forum announcement on the Discord Office Hours chat for people? So you can get a little bit more of an idea of what USDC is, but essentially it's a stablecoin that has pretty cool cross-chain capabilities. It's one of the leading DeFi, if not the leading DeFi stablecoin used across a bunch of different chains, including Ethereum. So the fact that USDC is finally available on Flow will unlock some pretty interesting use cases. And I'm sure all of you are as excited as I am. So I did invite Charles and Alex from Circle to talk about it. So Charles, do you want to take it away and just talk a little bit about USDC, and first of all, like maybe do a better job than I did at explaining why it's so awesome, and also what are you most excited about for it being available on Flow? Charles?
Hey everyone.
Hey. Who's this?
I was Legit. Louis.
Oh, hey.
Nice to see
Hey,
you.
Legate. How are you?
Good,
Welcome.
good.
We were
I'm
just,
excited.
we were just going to start talking about USDC. Charles, are you there, and do you want to take it away and talk a little bit about USDC?
Yeah, sure thing. We'll say Alex is probably he would kick this off a little bit stronger than I would typically. So just to introduce myself, I'm Charles Squarey. I have been at Circle for 6 months now, and I lead up our product. I'm a product manager for our APIs, and what makes us excited about launching on Flow is really just expanding our breadth of where USDC can be transacted. If you're not familiar with USDC, it's a fully backed stablecoin that we've been, migrating across different chains over the years. I don't know the exact number, to be honest, of what this hits, chain wise for us, but it's about five plus chains now. And what makes us excited about kind of launching USDC on Flow is really just about getting further into this NFT marketplace as Flow is kind of built as we see it, for that use case. We see the exponential growth in that space, and we really want to make sure that people are able to transact in USDC as they're also building on that chain.
Awesome. And some people may be wondering, like, why should I use a stablecoin, and why should I use USDC in my projects?
Yeah, if you don't mind, sorry for this pause. I'm gonna jump off and grab Alex. He's pinging me a bunch trying to figure this out.
Okay.
Oh, there.
Okay.
Oh, hey
I
guys.
see him
Hey,
now.
Hey.
There he is.
Hey, Alex. Welcome.
everybody. Sorry about that. I guess I needed to reboot the screen and allow Chrome to use my microphone.
Oh, classic. Don't worry. Don't worry. You're fashionably late and just in time. So you're just in time to be put on the spot.
Okay.
We were Charles was doing a great job at just giving us an overview of why USDC, and maybe you can jump in and give your take, more or less like cover why you're excited about USDC launching on Flow, why should people use USDC, and what benefits does USDC bring?
Sure. Yeah, no, great question, and happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. Charles probably introduced himself and perhaps myself as well, but I cover product marketing at Circle for our APIs and multi-chain USDC. And one of the reasons why I would say just right off the bat why USDC is valuable is the fact that it's multi-chain. It's something that we want to proliferate all throughout the crypto economy. It has pretty large adoption at this point. As you've probably seen, we crossed 50 billion in market cap across all chains, and launching on Flow is another step towards reaching all of your projects and your users and making that liquidity available to the Flow ecosystem. So soon we're going to start seeing a lot of market makers and exchanges bringing liquidity into the Flow ecosystem. We're working on that, and that's going to be happening probably in the coming weeks and months. And at that point, all of your users are going to be familiar with USDC from interacting with it on other chains, and now can take advantage of it on Flow. And I think that's going to be huge. USDC is, probably the most trusted stablecoin for a variety of reasons, hence why it's getting so much adoption. If you're not familiar with USDC in terms of what's backing it, Circle backs every USDC token with $1. So one-to-one backing. It's a fully collateralized asset-backed stablecoin. There are some other algorithmic stablecoins out there that are pretty interesting, and I think they kind of serve different use cases. But overall, in terms of asset-backed stablecoins, it doesn't get any better than USDC. So I'd say from a trust standpoint, from an adoption standpoint, you're going to see a lot of users probably demanding that it's in your app, and will like to see it in there and interact with it.
Awesome. Thank you. Actually, Bruno, if you're on the call, do you have? I think Bruno has a demo that he prepared. Do you want to show it? Bruno?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I have a small demo. I followed the post that Andrea did on the forum, and I ended up making a small application on how to integrate with USDC on Flow. I'll share my screen very quickly. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So this is the demo. You can go to this URL to check it out. I'll share it on the office hours. But basically, it follows the steps on the forum announcement about USDC. I encourage you go there and follow all the steps. But we can create Circle wallets real simple, following the API that Circle offers to all of us for free. And here we're gonna see how we can transfer USDC to a flow address. So first, we need to get our developer sandbox keys. So you can go to the link on the forum and then come back and configure it. And if you click it here, you will get a Circle wallet from the API. And using this wallet ID, we can create a deposit address, which serves like a small cap where people from other blockchains can send you the tokens, and then you can move these amounts to your flow addresses. You can check the fund status of a transfer in any moment. So first I create a wallet, then I created a deposit address. And if I go here and click the deposit address and I go to the USD faucet, I'm going to create a Circle wallet again, the deposit address, and I'm going to copy the deposit address. And I have opened the faucet here. One fun thing is that I got banned from the faucet. Yeah, and
You got
Kim,
banned?
yeah, I spent it too much USDC, I think.
Probably Charles banned you for being too fund hungry.
Yeah, yeah, but if you can fund an account, you will check the fund status any moment. If anyone can fund this account, I'll send real tokens back. This is the example.
I'm sending you some funds. Okay, it says success. Hopefully I typed the address right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, go ahead,
it
Bruno.
should- Yeah, I'm checking the fund status. I think it's working, still working. Yeah, we can check using Flow source. We can query any account. No, it doesn't have USDC yet. But if I wasn't banned from the faucet, you'll see the transfer status here. And once that is ready, we can create a transfer to get our money from the USDC from Circle Wallet to one of our Flow addresses. I put my Flow testnet address here, and if I, oops. If I create a transfer, it will go to the API and create a new transfer, and we'll set the status to pending. And I can check this transfer status again here, and since I don't have funds yet, it will tell me that I have insufficient funds. But yeah, it's this approach of generating transfers and deposit addresses and checking the status of these transfers. I think that is the first step for building and getting tokens out of and in of USDC Circle wallet. I'll post the sandbox here if anyone is interested in been learning how to query the API. It's really simple. All the API has this signature, and you just pass a idempotency key to avoid duplicate operations and the params as headers. You can check all about it in the post that Andrea did on the forum. So if you go to our forum and check it out, you see why it's important to build on USDC, and he uses he does all of this on the terminal. But if you want a front-end example, you can check these samples.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruno. I'll definitely add your sandbox to the original forum post because it's always useful to see it applied in different options. And congrats again for getting banned from the USDC file. I'm sure that took a lot of tries. For those of you who don't know Bruno, by the way, he's a dev advocate on the and he builds a lot of cool samples, including this one. Which, of course, knowing the demo gods, they sometimes don't look in favor of some live demos, but that's what you get with live coding demos. But if you check out the sandbox and you replace the API keys with your own, you can see it working all fine. Thanks again, Bruno. And yeah, and really the cool thing about what Bruno just showed is that interacting with Circle and USDC, like with your Circle wallet, the wallet itself is not chain specific, right? You have a Circle wallet that you interact via API, and whenever you need to make a chain specific deposit, then you just instantiate a blockchain deposit address, and all of that is abstracted away. So you don't really need to worry, about doing that yourself. And this makes it very easy to do cross-chain transfers as well. So you can fund your Circle wallet from another chain, such as Ethereum, USDC, and then send it to Flow, and vice versa. And this goes back to what Charles and Alex were saying around, USDC being available on multiple chains, but also being cross-chain. Charles, is there anything that through the demo we missed that we should probably also mention regarding the behind the scenes technical features of USDC?
Unfortunately, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had some internet troubles there for a moment, so I don't know if I captured the full demo. I do know one thing I wanted to call out, and I really appreciate showing off, demoing and showing what Circle can offer and how you can utilize it for what we call swapping, right, across chains, bringing money in with no fees, being able to swap out the Flow and keeping that USDC at the currency at the same amount that it was brought in at. But one thing also to highlight, right, is that because this is built on the blockchain, right, any developer dApp can start to integrate with that contract and start utilizing USDC in their project without having a Circle account. Now, do we prefer that happens? Maybe not, but we definitely want to kind of grow this ecosystem, and it's open, right? It's not that you have to have a relationship with Circle, but we believe that that swap opportunity, some of the other products that we offer, will really start to reel you in as you expand that dApp or that project that you want to expand. So I did want to just kind of highlight, right, the open nature of USDC, how it's deployed on Flow, that contract lives out there. It is documented on our website, I believe, as well on Flows, or at least in your Flow blog post, and that it can be grabbed and pulled into any project with little to no communication with Circle if needed, or we're here to help you as well, as you can see. So that's definitely something I wanted to just call out to everyone.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I just kind of got blown away by the API side and how easy it was that I kind of focused there, but absolutely. At the end of the forum post, by the way, we have links to both the testnet contract address and the mainnet contract address. So you can check it out and import it in your own project. And really, it's a fiat token which extends the regular fungible token interface. So yeah. One question that we've seen in the Discord, or actually, you know what? Maybe we can go right into questions. Exactly. One step ahead of me, Carol. Awesome. So yeah, let's start with Laguit's question. What was the work needed to make this USDC on Flow happen? Was it a matter of smart contract development, or was it something, or was it more than that?
I'll probably let Charles take that one for more details, but yeah, it's pretty much deploying the smart contract on Flow. There's some intricacies there, but for the most part, we're able to replicate USDC on any chain. It does take some resources and timing to do that, but for the most part, it's the same functionality you'd see on other chains.
Yeah, and adding on to that, here at Circle, we're constantly balancing the liquidity of USDC across these multi-chains. So there is, since we are the primary issuer of USDC, we're managing that right as real time. So when we do offer a new chain, there is that behind the scenes management of that fully backed dollar that we're kind of managing across all the different ones. So there is implementation that happens to ensure that as we look at like Ethereum and making sure that we're managing those funds across, just like the swap opportunity, right? Those funds can sit across those different chains, and we're able to easily swap those for you if you're using a Circle account. But just wanted, some of a little bit more detail to what's kind of happening behind the scenes at Circle and how we manage those funds across those chains. There is effort that's put there along with the smart contract that needs to be deployed.
Awesome. Thank you. The next question is pretty interesting also, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering. As a founder of a Flow project, what is the future of FUSD? Do you recommend focusing on FUSD or USDC now for in-app user transactions? Well, we suggest for all new implementations to focus integrating USDC, mainly because it has the most liquidity and on and off ramps. So you're better off going with USDC now that it's as I think both Charles and Alex mentioned, billion circulating supply, so you can be sure that it has enough liquidity. Whereas USDC is only on Flow. So yeah, that's the recommendation. Cool. The next question, Dry Run, what's the most convenient way to convert from USDF to USDC Flow and vice versa? Actually, the forum post kind of gives you an idea of how easy it is. The same steps that you would use to do it from Flow to the wallet, you would do from Ethereum to the wallet, and then from the wallet to Flow, and vice versa. So in the in Circle's documentation, they also have examples of how to fund from one place to the other, but it really is pretty simple to swap between funds going through the Circle wallet. Okay. Is there any documentation on how to integrate this with a Flow dApp? I think Charles and Alex, you and I were kind of going back and forth on email in this one. We'll probably produce. I think. Are you guys working on a dApp example, or what?
We don't have any no, not yet. We typically work with teams like yourself to kind of build those out. As we see USDC, it's following the standard fiat token. So therefore, the way we've rolled it out should be applicable to any other kind of fiat token that Flow brings to market or brings to the chain. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So then we can take this as an action item and create a sample of how to use it in a Flow dApp. So yeah. Awesome. And we already answered that one. Will Gary Gensler be on your Christmas card list? Blink twice for yes, once for no. how to earn money with. Will there be on-chain flow swap between USDC and Flow?
Oh, my audio glitched for a second. Could you repeat that question?
Yeah. Will there be on-chain flow swap between USDC and Flow?
Oh, like the Flow native token.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was gonna be one of my questions actually for all of you guys is what kind of dApps you're building, because that's something. I mean, exchanges, we want Flow USDC to be supported on exchanges as well as the Flow token, so that way swaps can happen there for centralized exchanges. But if you guys are building decentralized exchanges and other protocols that can facilitate those swaps, that's what we'd love to see, and I'm sure the community would love to see. So yeah, maybe if I'm able to ask the question back to the group, I don't know how we'd facilitate that, but like, what kind of apps are you guys building?
Oh, Kim,
I
maybe
can,
you.
we can
Yeah,
start
okay.
poll, and then people can answer.
Awesome. Thank you. Cool. Any questions left on the Slido while we create the poll? Do I understand correctly that a Circle wallet covers all chains and we can transfer USDC from a Circle wallet to Flow addresses? Well, by all, of course, not 100% of all existing chains, but all of the Circle supported chains, which you can find on their website. I think it's like 7 or 8 different, 7 or 8 of the biggest chains. And yes, then you can transfer USDC from the wallet to the Flow address. I don't know if Alex or Charles, you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I would say that's exactly right. The Circle account, which is like the Circle wallet, allows you to swap across those chains that we support for the native USDC, which is most of the liquidity that's going to be out there. Of course, there will be bridges that are built between chains where you don't need to become a Circle customer and use a Circle account to move USDC. But at that point, it's a wrapped or bridged USDC, which is fine, but will not likely be able to tap into the vast amount of liquidity that's native. So when it comes to trading pairs and other things like that, you'd prefer to have the native version of USDC, which is why we launched native USDC on Flow. But I just wanted to kind of share that distinction of Circle account, which is becoming a Circle customer, versus other things you could do in the ecosystem outside of that.
I have a question about because I'm planning to make like a store where you can actually buy T-shirts, caps, and physical things as well, merchandise, all these kind of things. And I see USDC being a really good fit to avoid people having to use necessarily credit cards. So it could be a really good option to integrate USDC. And I was wondering if you're planning to facilitate like some checkout process like Stripe does, that you embed the JavaScript and you can easily integrate that into like a shop store or these kind of things. Or how do you envision that to work?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do now with our APIs. So we have a payments API that Charles can talk deeper on from a technical perspective, but essentially you can take payments from end users from blockchain payments like USDC, or also credit cards and bank transfers, wire transfers. You can do all of those through our payments API. And at that point, say you're paying the end user is paying in USDC, for example, that's facilitated through the API and gets pulled into your Circle account, your Circle wallet, and then you could store it there and manage your treasury of funds in the Circle account, or you could send that back to an external Flow wallet if you want to move those funds elsewhere, or you can off-ramp it back to fiat if you wanted to do that too. So that's kind of the products and services that Circle provides.
And there would be like an event emitted with the order ID and the amount, or how do I trigger the fact that that order has been processed and paid? Do I have to check my account or do I listen
so
to some
we-
events?
So Circle currently has what we call like a create payment, and that's where really the life cycle of that cart would start on our side. You would create that payment, and in response, right, you get an ID. We also have notifications that can be sent out as that payment. If we're talking about like traditional card payments, where you would be notified of that status of that card and you know where it's at, has it settled, so on and so forth. You can also build out like flows where card payments can settle into an end user's wallet, right? Your end customer's wallet. So we do have like wallet management as well that we can do on the behalf of your customers. So there's a couple different ways to kind of use our APIs, and they provide I think a great way to really combine fiat, blockchain, and to create a marketplace for something like that.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Luca. Anybody? Yeah. Also, if anyone has questions, like Luca, feel free to just jump in. We're reading off the Slido just because we have a backlog of questions. But if you have a live question, that takes priority. Cool. So, what wallets will support USDC? I can speak for Blockto. I enabled USDC on my Blockto wallet yesterday. I don't know. Alex, do you have specific?
Yeah, from what I understand, Blockto is the primary most adopted wallet on Flow. So like you said, it's available there. And I think we're hoping to see more wallets being developed on Flow. And of course, I think naturally they would be building availability for USDC on those wallets too. So I'm not sure of any new projects that are being spun up, but that would be great to see.
Will the Circle wallet work with the FCL library? Well, the Circle wallet is mainly accessible via Circle's API, so it wouldn't really be done through FCL. You would use FCL to integrate with the native contracts on the Flow blockchain, so with the fiat token. Cool. Does this mean that USDC withdrawal from Dapper Wallet will be faster than today? We are the Flow team, so we can't really speak for the Dapper Wallet team, but I'm sure the team is working on making USD withdrawals as fast as possible. When Binance supporting Flow's version USDC? That's a question for Binance, but I'm sure they're working on it. Is there support for swapping FUSD to USDC for users? I don't think there's a automatic bridge unless, for example, there's a swap functionality in the wallets, or there's a dApp that supports this. But please, if people from the team know better, keep me honest.
I don't think one exists, but Pete, yeah, better to hear from Pete.
I was just gonna say, if there's demand for that, I'm sure BlocktoSwap would want to hear about it, right? Because they've got the existing Tether to FUSD pool. So, like in terms of technical capabilities, I'm sure they could do it. But that'd be something to bring up with them. So yeah, I think if there's demand for that, we should definitely talk about it.
Yep.
Hi, I would like to share something quickly. I'm Max from Chainmonsters, and as you may know, we are on Flow for like a long time, and we actually did create our contracts in preparation for like new stablecoins, especially USDC, back when it was announced. And we're currently supporting FUSD only. So, but what we're doing is basically we're to transition everything to most likely USDC going forward without having to upgrade our contract. And I posted a link to our flow scan address, which includes the source code for our purchase product contract, basically, where we're to use for like drops and stuff. So if you want to see how you can support multiple fungible tokens at the same time for like separate drops, for example, or separate products, because that's what we've been doing now, it's probably like a helpful resource.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you say that you shared it on the chat? If not, can you definitely share it?
Yeah, I shared it in 1 second. I am posting the link again. It's in the office hours.
Oh, cool. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, because for us we did have some issues with FUSD, the previously native only stablecoin on Flow. So for us, that USDC is now coming officially to Flow is of course like a huge announcement, and yeah, it's it's going to be great, I think.
I love it. That's great.
Thank you for sharing that, Max. Really gonna dive into it later, and I encourage everyone to do so as well. Awesome. Cool. So we have a lot of questions today. Yeah, so this is a repeat of the other question. How does the Flow client library work with USDC? The Flow client library would, Max also kind of answered it if you want to look at their contract, but if you want to use FCL, that's mainly to interact with the Flow blockchain specifically, so you would interact with the native USDC contracts, whereas if you're using the Circle wallet, then that would just be via API. Do you think this announcement has any positive implications for projects fungible tokens for purposes of an IDO launchpad? Well, I think that really depends on the project itself, and how what the benefits is of having a USDC stablecoin with a big liquidity is. But for Flow as a whole, definitely having USDC is big positive news and positive implications for the community as a whole, as it unlocks a lot of applications that previously were not possible. So I would say the only implications that I can think of are positive. And once we have USDC on Blockdo, how do we bring it to Binance? Not sure. We would probably have to have Binance supporting Flow USDC, or you can use the Circle API to swap it with another pair. Cool. Any other questions regarding USDC while we have the Circle team?
We can take a look at the poll.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, let's see. I'm just gonna write my own. But look at some of the responses. So DAO, collectibles, DAO, NFT marketplace, NFT DAO, comedy NFT collectibles and marketplace. Gee, I wonder who that is. A game that focuses on real world benefits. That's really cool. Would love to hear more about that, whoever put that in. NFT marketplace, a wallet, a minting platform and marketplace and DAO. So a lot of DAOs.
That's super cool. Yeah, I mean, USDC is going to work great for any marketplace as as just a payment method or an on ramp to USDC. Definitely see that a lot with NFT marketplaces and NFT storefronts, and just e-commerce in general. And then DAOs, it makes a ton of sense to have most of your DAO treasury in USDC. You can trust that it's going to be stable. It's going to be always redeemable for dollars. So definitely seeing a lot of that happening too, and very happy to hear so many DAOs are being spun up. So that's awesome.
If anyone wants to share any details about what they're building or have questions about specifically what they're building, now's your chance to bring it up so that we can discuss it. If not, feel free to send it via text chat or on the Q&A section. But yes, I'm also very curious about the comedy NFT collectibles and marketplaces.
I think Enjoy's here in chat from Jam. I think that's their little project.
Yes, indeed. Jam is where you get all your comedy collectibles. We actually just launched a really, really fun and exciting collection with Tom Segura and Christina P over at Your Mom's House. We launched the best of collection of their podcast that has some really hilarious but genuinely not safe for work content. So yeah, wear headphones if you check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, feel free to put a link in the chat if you haven't already. Definitely gonna check it out. Cool. All right. Hey, look, there's the USDC logo right there. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, while everyone else thinks
sorry,
of...
I should probably just since I'm here and you just mentioned the USDC logo. So like right now, we actually just finished integrating to be maybe a little too blunt. It was quite hard for people to get FUSD and Flow at certain points in our sales at times. And so we made the concerted effort to support MetaMask USDC. So like Ethereum, ERC20 USDC payment methods so that people could buy with the Ethereum assets that they're used to having and then still receive their NFTs on the Flow blockchain side. So hearing that USDC is now native on Flow was super exciting. And that's why I specifically made sure I'm here for this, because I wanted to see how it would work. And I'm happy to report to the Circle team that's here that I am super impressed with the API, and I sent it to my other developers, and we're all dancing and partying over here. So thank you. This is awesome.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing. And also, if I can ask you a favor, if you don't mind sharing your findings as you build the native Flow integration. I'm sure the community would love to learn from your learnings. So if you have a blog or anything, I'd love to read some of your findings from integrating native Flow USDC. I'm sure the community would also be up for it. Cool. Awesome. Well, if anyone has any other questions for USDC, we still have time after, but I do want to make sure that Pete covers the NFT metadata update. Pete, do you want to take it away?
Sure do. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Sorry, I don't have much visual under my section, but I'll share my screen in a sec to show you some code. Yeah, I just wanted to give an update on NFT metadata. So for those of you who don't know, a few of our esteemed community members have been working on an NFT metadata standard over, I guess, the past 3+ months at this point. But we're excited to announce that the final version of the code framework has been deployed to both testnet and mainnet. Huge shout out to Bjarte, who I think is on the call today, as well as Dennis, aka Blue Sign, and Brian from NFT Co. They were all original authors of the standard. But over the past month or so, we've been just working to actually roll it out and now that it's been defined, to help people implement it and make it a real thing. And the latest on that front is, so for those of you who haven't seen, the base standard for metadata it's more of a framework. So it provides a way to define different metadata structures. And Bjarte and I think it was you who came up with that resolver pattern in the first place. But the way it works is as it's designed to be flexible, right? So as new sort of metadata types arise, anyone can basically come in and propose a new format. But when we merged the base standard, there was no, it didn't have any views yet. So we spent the past few weeks talking about sort of what we saw as being just the base set of views that would be needed to display an NFT. And what we landed on was a display view, which is basically just a struct that has the name and description of an NFT, as well as a thumbnail image. And that would allow a wallet, for example, to display an NFT as well as the marketplace. And it's sort of just like that very basic representation of an NFT. And with that, we were able to take the standard and actually update Kitty items, which is the example NFT app that we've been using it for educational purposes. So if you want to see how this standard works in practice, you can check out Kitty items. We're working on a full implementation guide that'll walk you through just all the steps you need to take to either create a fresh NFT contract that uses the standard, or how to update your existing NFT contracts to use the standard. And that last part's really important because the team took a lot of care to make sure that this update would be non-breaking. So there's no urgency to update to implement metadata. If you don't, your app won't break. And then when you do update it, it is possible to upgrade your existing contracts without introducing breaking changes. Yeah. And then the last sort of important piece here is we're going to be recommending that projects upgrade to this new standard going forward, because that will allow easier integrations with marketplaces and wallets and other apps, and in general will just promote composability across applications. That being said, we are still currently talking about the royalty standard, which will be an implementation inside metadata. So if your application wants to make use of NFT royalties, it's probably best to wait a week or two until we finalize that view, and we'll be making an announcement when that happens. Yeah, that's about it. Any questions about metadata?
Pete, I just wanted to add, and you probably already touched on this, but just to really drive it home, you can have whatever metadata you want for your NFT. There are no limitations there. All the standard does is it gives you a way to share metadata in a predictable way so that anybody that wants to render your NFT can do so without having to know anything about your project ahead of time.
Yep. Yeah, Mac.
I see. So metadata is sort of mainly or crucially important for sort of aggregate marketplaces like OpenSea, and also I see Alchemy just released an NFT API with a get metadata feature. Is this standard going to be adopted by Alchemy and OpenSea? Do we know how those two pieces fit together?
I'm not sure about OpenSea. They'd have to decide to come to Flow. But with Alchemy, yeah, they there's a lot. So like Alchemy's API, if you haven't seen it yet, it's awesome. Check it out. I think it launched yesterday. It provides just a simple REST API to fetch metadata for any NFT on Flow. We've talked with their team. If they're going to consume this standard as well. So going forward, the easiest way to get into the Alchemy API will be to implement this metadata structure. And then they'll just have a standard way to consume and index metadata across the whole chain.
Sweet.
What about the existing links that NFTs already have and integrating this with existing collections? How would that work?
You're talking about the like storage links in a user account?
Like the public collection links, since this comes in the form of an interface a collection implements.
Yeah. So the right now, the best way to get around that is to borrow the concrete. I think most NFT collections on Flow have a separate borrow function that returns the concrete NFT type. That'll be the best way right now to access the metadata. In the next couple months, we hope to release an update to Cadence that allows default interface implementations. And what that will let us do is take the metadata standard and actually attach it to the base NFT interface. And at that point, we can actually go back and use the simple like borrow NFT collection method without doing any sort of like force casting. But there is a limitation right now where you won't be able to access the resolver functions on the generic borrow function, but we hope to get there. Does that make sense? It's a bit convoluted, but you can send the code over if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the code.
Cool.
One thing that we do right now for one of our apps is we unlink and then relink someone's assets in order to access like the standard non-fungible token stuff. I'm wondering if we would be doing the same thing throughout all of Cadence really for this. For those public
We
collections.
shouldn't have to do that now.
Hey, this is Project. So
Hey.
right now you can't update a contract and add a new conformance to a new interface. So it's not possible to add the data views resolver collection to your collection. You can't add it. It's not allowed. I think they're working on removing that, but what I would recommend people doing is they should add the get views and resolve views, just add that to your collection public. So the concrete collection public implementation you have, if you have an existing contract. That is until we have the default implementation, as Pete mentioned. That will make it possible for you to work with this. It won't be as elegant, but it will work at least. But for new things, strongly recommend just implementing the metadata views. Like MFL just posted their contracts yesterday, I believe it was, and they do it already. So, but I guess this will become clear in the documentation that Pete mentioned earlier.
One quick note is, if I'm not mistaken, this next fork will include the ability to allow contracts to increase the number of conformances. So that should be coming here.
That's awesome to hear. Is that in this fork now next week?
I believe so. Was somebody else chiming in?
I just said nice, I think.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that was called out. And when is this work happening? Good question. I think it's
on the 7th of February.
Thanks,
I believe it was, or the 9th or whatever.
Let's get it right here. Let's see. Upcoming sports.
It is the 9th.
Yeah, the 9th. Thank you. Thank you. We got to get it together here. Yeah, so we're looking forward to having that, and that'll make it a lot easier to, again, increase the number of conformances.
Yeah, I also made up an issue some time ago about adding conformances to public links, not within the contract itself, so that we can simply add like this metadata standard. Do you think that would be useful?
Sounds like it. I totally recognize your voice, but I want to, learn more about that, and we can see if we can get that addressed as well.
Hey, I don't know if anyone from the Circle team saw the question by Beppy Ben that I kind of expanded on, I think, in maybe a helpful way and maybe not a helpful way. But there's some questions about exchanges that use USDC and whether or not they will be able to support swapping that USDC to Flow USDC in the near future, or if they're not using the Circle wallet and therefore can't access that API.
Yeah, so you're talking about like centralized exchanges like Binance?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, our business development team and Flow's business development team are reaching out to these exchanges, like Binance and others, to see if we can get them to support Flow USDC, because ideally, a lot of people, just regular end users, retail consumers, use those exchanges all the time for swapping assets. So that's like a really easy way for them to start converting Ethereum USDC to Flow USDC or Bitcoin to Flow USDC, and then send that to their Blockdo wallet and start interacting with your projects, natively in the ecosystem. So we see that as like a really big, opportunity for an influx of liquidity to get onto Flow. So we're working on that. Like it will take some time, probably weeks and months, honestly, to get these exchanges to support Flow USDC, but that's just another vector for bringing in liquidity that will be a big boost to the ecosystem.
Great, thank you for the response.
All right. I'm loving the conversations today. Cool. Pete, I just want to double check. You mentioned at the beginning of your presentation that you were going to show some code. You don't have to. I'm just checking if you some time to do it. Otherwise, we can move forward.
I probably can't squeeze it into 3 minutes, so
Okay.
I'll post it in the channel afterwards, though. But to address this question on the screen, will there be a dedicated channel or forum for metadata updates? Absolutely. I'm going to put a forum post up later today that has an overview of everything I talked about, with links out to code samples, and then it'll also link out to the Flow NFT repository, and that's where we'll be discussing future metadata updates, different view implementations. So if you have ideas for the kinds of metadata you want to see, definitely come there and you can join one of the open discussions, or start a new one. The big one right now, again, is about royalties. So we're trying really hard to make sure that this standard will support royalties for all NFTs on Flow.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete. Cool. Well, we have 2 minutes left, so we can start wrapping up. If there's any last-minute questions, please shout and talk on top of me. But otherwise, I will slowly tie things up here. I'll start off by saying massive thank you to Alex and Charles for joining from Circle. I know we had a little bit of, Discord issues at the beginning, but glad that you were able to join and answer questions. It's really interesting to get your perspective on questions concerning USDC, and I'm sure everyone else appreciates you being here as well. For the NFT Metadata Standard, we'll be posting all the links in the office hours chat as well. And said there will be a forum announcement coming soon that contains code samples and everything. So again, you can join the conversation there. And even though we only have office hours once a week, the Discord and the forums are always open. Feel free to always ask your questions anytime. But of course, if you want to discuss them, this is a really good place to do it in person, or as in person as it can be in a call. But yeah. So with that, I want to thank everyone for joining. You are the ones that make office hours interesting. Your questions, your presence, and your answers. So thank you for joining this week's office hours, and see you in the next ones. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you. Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.